So now I invite Gyani sir. Please spray the light on the IOR. Thank you.
Respected Chair, distinguished delegates, very good afternoon to all. As already been briefed by Session Chair about IOR, EOR, improved oil recovery and enhanced oil recovery. In the morning session, there was a presentation from Vedanta on, and he also touched upon the enhanced oil recovery. So let me take you through the EOR process, what has been implemented in India so far. Before I go on IOR, EOR, these are the two terms which are extensively used in our industry. The moment we make the discovery, we make the initial development plan, the field quite early in its age goes into improved oil recovery and enhanced oil recovery process. Though the whole world has seen, even today, almost 80, 90 years old fields are operating. The discovery, the major discoveries which have been made, say, 70, 80 years back, all those fields are still producing because of technology, because of IOR, because of EOR. As in the morning, Naharkatia 1 well was mentioned, which was discovered in 1950, still it is producing. So it is a good thing in our industry. None of the major fields have been written off so far in history of oil industry. And that gives us the confidence, if we induct technology, if we do the proper IOR, EOR, the field will go on, and nobody knows what is going to be the ultimate recovery, really, if you ask me. So in my presentation, I will just touch upon IOR. I will not deal in detail IOR, but certainly EOR part I will deal in much greater detail. As all of you are aware that ER policy in October 18, the government has already put in force. And what has changed after the ER policy? So we will know all these things during the presentation. Before I go into the technical presentation, just few words about my institute. This institute, Institute of Reservoir Studies, which has been shared by our session chair also, was created in 1978 after major field discovery, that is Bombay High. And the mandate given to this institute was to create all the development plan and enhanced recovery plan to improve the production and recovery from the ONGC fields. Besides that, we also do the reservoir characterization, how to do the well performance studies and all, but our main objective is to do IOR and EOR. And we deal the 4 numbers what you are seeing: chemical EOR, thermal EOR, gas-based EOR, and microbial. All the 4 EORs, we have the in-house capability to carry out in the field and do all the pilot studies. Before I go into EOR, everybody talks about oil is going to be, production is going to be lower and lower. But if you ask me, even in 2050, 2060, oil is going to be as prominent as today. Maybe in percentage terms, oil will go down, renewable will pick up. But if you see in the volume terms, oil and gas will remain as significant as it is today. In Indian context, we use fossil fuel something around more than 90%, and world uses somewhere around 85%. In oil and gas, our usage is 36%, world uses around 60%. Even with 36% of oil and gas usage, you know what is the import bill for India. And if it goes to the world level of around 50%, what is going to be the import bill? So we are in urgent need to produce more and more oil gas in domestic sense or even in the equity oil sense. Energy strategy. There are a lot of visionary concepts, milestones have been set by the present government. The first is the PM vision, our Honorable PM vision. First is the access. Everybody has to access to the energy. That is his vision, or our India vision. Second is efficiency. If we have to reduce the level of consumption, efficiency has to improve. Sustainability related to environment, and security related to sustained supply. All these 4 factors have to be fulfilled if we have to have assured energy supply. 10% import reduction in the morning session, the speakers have already dealt. COP21 related to environment. I will not deal in detail, but we have to reduce the emission intensity by 33% with respect to 2005 by 2030. And renewable, our target is 175 gigawatt by 2022. Recovery factor. What is the world's recovery factor as of now? People expect, if you say all good, bad together, everything together, world is seeing something around 35%. If we talk in terms of ONGC, currently we stand at around 20-21%, and with the ongoing production, we are likely to reach somewhere around 28-29%. Still, there is a differential with respect to world average and ONGC or India average, around 6 to 7%. If we have to bridge that gap, more technology, more IUR, more UR is required to bridge that gap. Coming to IUR, the red bar, what you are seeing, it is ONGC's contribution since 1996, almost the last 20 years. If you see the last 10 years, ONGC production is almost constant. The bottom line is showing, had we not done any IUR, UR, that would have been our production. And why doing IUR, UR in our major field, that yellow line is showing you. So that is the incremental gain we are getting from the IUR, UR process in our major fields. And all the fields put together, that is the red line, which is showing the overall ONGC production. And so far, we have already produced something around 120 million ton plus by inducting new technology, IUR and UR process in all the ONGC fields. Now, IUR, as our session chair told in the morning, all the offshore fields have undergone different phases of development. The first graph on the right-hand side is Mumbai High. The green line is showing the actual production so far since 2000, when the first phase of first scheme came, IUR scheme came in Bombay High. And the different lines, what you are seeing, that is an expectation from the different inputs we are going to get from the Mumbai High. Had we not done any IUR in Mumbai High, the red line would have been our production trend. And you see, by doing the proper IUR process in the field, how our productions have improved. I'm not getting into the number, I'm just showing you the impact of what it has made in terms of production level. The inputs which have come, that is infill campaign, lot of infill drilling, site tracking, horizontal wells, which has really changed the drainage concept in offshore. Water injection optimization is an integral part of IOR. Well stimulation, different modes of stimulation. Our stimulation expert is sitting in the audience. It helps in improving the productivity, and certainly one most important thing to continuously produce, that is artificial lift optimization. These are the few things which are required to be done. Beyond that also there are many things, but these are the high value tickets which are required to be optimized if we have to do the proper IUR in the field. And the bottom part is the gas field, that is the basin field. Only by putting the compressors at the right time, we have already achieved recovery of 65%, and we are targeting to go up to 75 plus in basin gas field, which is currently producing around 15 million meter cube of gas. Now coming to EOR, Enhanced Oil Recovery. In India, the first EOR scheme was implemented in 1985 by ONGC in one of the fields, that is Sanand. There are certain peculiar features with the EOR. It is a long lead item. Morning there was a question why it takes so long. Because a lot of QC, it is upfront investment. People have to do a lot of studies to mitigate the risk. Long lead time, front-end CapEx investment, continuous OpEx in terms of raw material injection and other thing, and it produces almost 15-20 years to recover the cost. That's why many companies, those who see very upfront capital gain, they will not invest in EOR. The companies which can sustain the long recovery of the investment, they can only go for the EOR process. Because there is a slow recovery, there is a build-up period, then only you can recover the investment. How to ensure success? This is the lessons learned by our experience since 20-25 years in oil industry. Clarity of the objective is very much required. If we do pilot, why exactly we are doing pilot? Morning Vedanta has told, very beautiful pilot they have done. And they could know the things which are required to be known upfront. Improved understanding in terms of geology, geophysics, reservoir characterization, everything. Dedicated project team. There has to be continuity in the project team. It is not something which everybody can do. Specialists are required to carry out enhanced oil recovery. People understand that enhanced oil recovery is something related to subsurface. It is not subsurface. Your surface facility has to equally supplement the EOR process, then only it can become successful. So that impression has to go. What we have done in ONGC, we have changed the scale. So far, we have done 4 EORs. Now we are going to do something around 25 plus in another 2 years time period. That is a change of scale. Core team is working for the EOR in ONGC. We have taken new business models. There was a morning a question, how we can reduce the time. These are the things you can reduce the time in implementing the field. Now, concept we have changed. Earlier, we were going the full-fledged production system. Now, we are going very integrated system, modular system, which can be shifted from one place to another place. We can reduce the time. Then robust monitoring and surveillance. EOR, how best you design, you are going to have surprise. Be ready for that. And to remove that surprise, you have to continuously monitor the process which is happening in the field and take the corrective action. That is the integral part of the enhanced oil recovery. If anybody thinks that I will design and it is going to be implemented in the field, forget it. You have to continuously monitor, continuously tweak the EOR process to become successful in the field. Sorry, just I will take one. Now, lead time of 10 years. This is the exact example which is I'm implemented, air injection in Mehsana field, where we have a oil reservoir of something around 200 plus centipoise. We do air injection. We started the first small scale pilot in 1990. It was successful. Again, we went to large scale in 1992. It was successful, but it gave a very good lesson to us how we should inject. What should be pattern, how the spacing has to be there in the field. All those learning came in the 2 years, which was translated into the actual in 1997 for the semi-commercial. It was a grand success. Then it was implemented in 2000 in full field. So it took almost 10 years to understand the whole process, how air is going to be injected in the reservoir, how the fire front is going to be created in the reservoir, how the viscosity will reduce in the reservoir, and ultimately oil will get produced. And today, we are in the world, air injection, we are the authority. We have done from not only the process implementation, we have done the simulation study for the whole air injection process. The only agency which can take up the design to simulation and implementation in the field today, it's only ONGC, which has really implemented right from scratch to the current level of recovery. Recovery, another thing we will see in the subsequent slide. And if you see in the very simple term, we start any field development, we try to optimize the development scheme. That is the first part of it. Then we get into EOR. That is the sustainable growth or maintenance of the production. That is equivalent to doing it in a better way. And the last thing, EOR, doing it in a new way. And that gives you the competitive advantage, the maximum recovery you can expect from the reservoir. Some word about the world. The bottom line shows you the exact number in terms of how many EOR projects are happening in the world and what is the contribution. As of now, around 375 EOR projects are happening all across the world, and we are producing something close to 2.5 million barrel out of 97, 98 million barrel the whole world produces today. It comes around 3% of the total world's production from EOR. And top two curves shows you the relative contribution. CO2 EOR is the 44% in terms of number, and it produces 24% of total oil from EOR. And similarly, thermal, which is around 32% in number, but it produces 43% of total EOR oil. So as of now, CO2 and thermal are the largest process which gives you maximum EOR contribution. How is the ONGC journey? As I told you in the beginning, 1985, first EOR, that is polymer EOR, was implemented in Sanand field, which was commercialized in 1996. The second scheme came Balol and Santhal air injection in 1997. And the fourth scheme, miscible gas injection, came in 2001. All these 4 schemes are almost 20 years old. It took us almost, though in between we have implemented many pilots in air injection, in chemical EOR, and so on and so forth. But the 5th EOR scheme came in 2019 on a commercial. And that is North Kadi. Viraj in Ahmedabad, and just after 6 months, another scheme came, that is North Kadi polymer injection in 2020. So total 6 commercial schemes are happening in ONGC, and at least 3-4 pilot schemes are happening as of now. Now, what is the impact of EOR so far in ONGC? Had we not done the bottom graph, what you are seeing, the deep green is showing the actual production we would have expected had we not done any EOR. And with the EOR, we have already produced 12 million ton from reservoirs which are subjected to different EOR processes. We would have lost, as I told you in the previous slide, total world EOR contribution is of 3%. In terms of ONGC, on ONGC level it is 3%, but if we see in the different segment, like onshore production and things like that, it varies from 3%, 9% to 12%. But overall EOR contribution is 3%. Now the question comes, why the world is stuck? When I joined ONGC way back in some 30 years earlier, that time also I came to know that EOR contribution was 2%. And today also, if you see the whole world is talking about the EOR production of 3%, though the volume have increased from say 60 or 70 million barrel to 97 or 100 million barrel, but the percentage remains same. Why? As I touched upon this topic earlier also, the first thing, you have to know the reservoir in great detail. Second thing, there is an upfront investment and long revenue period to get the recovery or recover your investment. Second thing, people go for EOR when nothing works. That was the concept some 20 years back. This is not today. People have understood it gives the benefit. So most of the people like Vedanta, they have started their EOR quite early in its age. It requires very requisite skill is required to design EOR, to implement EOR, and that skill is not very, very easily available in this industry as of now. And the last thing, though there are other reasons also, but the last thing is that as we have seen the cost reduction in shale oil, shale gas, and other part of the other discipline of the oil industry, similar thing have not happened in case of EOR. Still, our time horizon to implement EOR is pretty long. And even to reduce the uncertainty in other things, many studies are required. Then only you can develop your confidence. You can reduce the risk in the whole thing and implement into the field. These are the reasons which lead to less EOR implementation, or you can say IOC, NOC reluctant to take the EOR process for implementation in the field. Now the 4 EOR process which I have told in the beginning, in a single shot, the bottommost Sanand, water flood recovery was 14%, present recovery is 26%, and we are trying to realize close to 40% from Sanand, that is polymer flood. 2 in situ combustion. In Balol, had we not done anything, our recovery would have been 13%. Now we are expecting to reach 43%. Currently we are around 22%. Similarly for Santhal, water flood recovery was 13%. We are trying to reach 44%. Currently, we are at 30%. So 17% incremental recovery has already been done. In case of miscible gas injection, we have already touched 54%. Still, this reservoir is producing. Had we not done this EOR, this story would have been over in 2000 itself. Now, coming to the ER policy, which was put into effect in October 18,